This is the island I told you about, Jim, that I really have a vision. If we're going to take the next step for a wellness program, Koshai is the island.
That's the island to do it on.
Because it has a good infrastructure with the churches.
I want to see more Czech Spanish in Koshai.
In Koshai, that's right. That's right.
Really, Sam, my other colleague is living today. We are here.
Oh, Dr. Liv is here. Okay.
So we're living today, and I'll be leaving on Sunday.
Okay.
And today we will have our my purpose of being here, invited by FAB at the national and state to see the final work of the nations.
Right.
Everything regarding the IHR, International Health Regulation, whether we are in possession or we workforce, capacity building.
Right. Well,
So we have to come up with a plan in order to prepare for the crisis. So right now we are in that stage. So by invitation I'm here, and coincidentally I meet a lot of people in health. Most especially come back.
we would like to come back. Canvas Back would like to come and be part of your health program.
May I ask you a question? You said prepare for the crisis. What crisis, if I may ask?
Health issue is a big crisis because
Sick, missiles, all those things. Naturally, you're the medical expert. Medical emergency or crisis, are we prepared for it?
right.
So it's anything life-threatening.
And Koshai is so isolated, even more so. Only 2 planes.
Well, you realize that we are separated by water, not like U.S. continental. And going to remote, it's an issue.
Right.
Outbreak is an issue. How you get to the access to this? If Canvas Back come to Koshai, it is not like Pohnpei, or even remote.
They have 2 planes a week, right? Just one plane.
One to Koshai. United Air, not compared to Pohnpei. Pohnpei has a BNC, I believe.
But how many times does United stop?
Twice a week.
Twice a week.
Tuesday, Friday. Now there is a pilot project, Sunday of Light, but that will not be continued. I certainly.
If our donors helped Canvas Back enough, because financially we can't do anything without our donors, how could we help you if we had the funding?
Find more donors to sponsor.
But I mean, if we found them, how could we help you?
What are the needs in Koshai?
Man, it's a lot. It's a lot, and I cannot speak for the director. But like I said, when I met you, you already met my director. He should have better plans or vision than I do. But we have, when it comes to how can you have lack of interest, lack of personnel.
Well, there's one thing I know about Koshai. When you look at the 4 states,
Yes.
Koshai is the smallest state. It has the least amount of population, so it
6,000.
gets the smallest piece of the pie when they split up the money, and so they are in need of specialists.
It's the stepchild.
Yeah, they are in need of specialists. And one of the most beautiful things about Koshai, it's one island. The church is very strong, and that leadership can help in promoting good health care.
We do a lot of social functions, and church contribute to a lot of things. Health, yes. Believe, yes, but culturally, we have to discipline our eating habits. Maybe that's where you're gonna come.
This is the island I told you about, Jim, that I really have a vision. If we're going to take the next step for a wellness program, Koshai is the island
That's
to
the
do it,
island to do it on.
because it has a good infrastructure with the churches.
Contact
Document.
community workshop, talk, short, concise, direct to the point, listen to the pros, listen to the doctor. Why do we actually need to have meals, breakfast, lunch, dinner? Those kind of things can canvas back. Look into those things, educational side,
Yeah.
Okay.
that we can actually hear from the professional people. Maybe include how to minimize diabetes issue on. Do you really believe that eating contribute impact the increased number of diabetes in the nation? And verify, prove it that there is no cure for diabetes.
No, I think that I
but
think
you know,
Koshai could be a
because,
model.
yes, how can we help?
Koshai
Increase
could be a
number of
model.
sponsorship
Yeah.
to fund your programs. Then you can actually, on site.
Jamie and Jackie have just been talking about this, of how to expand and where to expand.
Right?
And we just sent out a letter that's actually coming out shortly, asking folks to participate with us to expand wellness centers.
Find good supporter for you guys, and email Dr. Taulang.
Okay.
Maker will work with the community to support such dreams. So really, I'm very small, but I like to be effective in my work.
The three biggest killers in the islands of Micronesia are heart disease, stroke, and diabetes. Canvasback has tackled these issues head-on by establishing a wellness center on the atoll of Majuro. People there eat very few vegetables. Now, thanks to Canvasback, islanders are learning how to grow gardens in their backyards and to exercise. The lifestyle changes have been so remarkable, the government invited Canvasback to write an entire curriculum for the public school system. Now the lives of the children are changing too, and our trained neighborhood health teams travel the island to monitor glucose levels, heart rate, and blood pressure. It's not uncommon to discover glucose levels of 500 to 600. These people are taken to the hospital, and once stabilized, the team begins the education process to reverse their diabetes. That's right, reverse their diabetes. Many island nations are asking us to come over and help them. With your financial help, many more islanders can experience good health.
Wow, could it be more beautiful to just kick back in a hammock on an island? You think the doctors at Canvasback, maybe that's all they do. They come to an island to relax and just kick back and do nothing. But let me tell you, that is absolutely not the case, as you're going to see in a moment.
The label that you had me print today, where was it supposed to be on?
Right here.
That's it, okay. I just noticed that,
That he's having surgery.
well, he's up there for CIOLD. And
No,
it's
take that
also-
off.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, that's the one I was looking for.
I put it up high just to separate it.
Yeah.
So I would,
Okay, yeah. So this is our OR schedule board, and it represents actually only 4 days of clinic that we had. We conducted clinic on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So this represents about, I would say, about 80 surgeries that have been completed or will be completed by the time the trip is over. And we still have today, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday to do screenings for patients. So we may probably fill up the rest of this.
Typically, Jackie, how many surgeries would you do on a trip?
Typically, we would do about 200 surgeries. So this represents about half of that.
And you also got cut a day short because your plane had to turn around and you lost a day.
We were halfway to Majuro and we had to turn around and go back to Honolulu because the patient got ill on the plane, and our canvasback doctors actually helped that patient out. So yeah, we lost the day, but what the team did, we were supposed to have a day off when we got here, but instead we got here on Sunday, we ate and came and worked till about 9 o'clock unpacking everything so we could start up on Monday.
I know you've got 200 surgeries, but you've seen a lot more patients than that then too, to get that
Yeah,
200
Sherry,
surgeries.
how many patients have we seen?
We don't have 200 surgeries. We've
No.
seen.
Normally though.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we will have by the end of
Yeah.
the day. So far we've seen, as of 5 o'clock last night, we had seen 124 patients. We've done 32 surgeries, and including those 32, we've scheduled 77 surgeries.
Okay.
So-
And some of those people, you end up doing one eye, and then they come back and you do another eye.
That's right.
And now that you've got a retinal specialist on, all of a sudden you've done retinal surgery that's maybe never happened in the whole Marshall Islands.
All not happen all through Micronesia. There's only one vitrector in all of Micronesia, and that belongs to Canvasback, and we brought that, and a
Wow.
retinal specialist. And his position is so needed in the islands, and yeah, his position is really needed in the islands because no one is here to treat these retinal patients at all. So.
Now I had Dr. Rick walk me through yesterday, and he took me back into the back where all the shipping containers are, and then he took me to where all the doctors wheel in all the extra luggage that they bring aboard. But you take months ahead of schedule planning all this. Can you walk me through this whole
It
process?
takes about a year to really pull together a great team because we have to recruit the team members, then we have to solicit the donations, we have to schedule the surgery, the whole thing. So it's about a year, and then we have to get all the supplies in. And for ophthalmology, it was about 8 crates, I think. It was 8 crates. That includes the
Now,
equipment.
sorry, if I can interrupt you just for a second. So Canvasback has a warehouse in Benicia
That's
where
right.
you begin staging all of this.
That's right, that's right. It gets wild because we have a lot of stuff come in. Not only is it the equipment that we know we're going to need for the teams and the supplies, but we're in constant contact with the local doctor here. We say, well, what do you need? Is there equipment that's broken? Is there something that we can help? And indeed, the team brought in an A scan, a B scan. We brought in various items.
Back up, A scan, B scan.
It's for testing the health of the eye. So we brought in a machine to donate to him. We knew that he needed tables that move up and down, and makes it easier for the doctor. We were able to get that donated.
I noticed the surgery tables were massage tables. Right?
That's right.
Okay.
We sent in the massage tables because that's easier to position our patient. And we'll leave that for Dr. Gallen.
So not only do you bring in a team, but you leave a lot of additional equipment that the hospitals never had.
Right, and supplies. The word to all of our teams are you must bring in every single item you need for admission and then extra, because we don't want to deplete any of the supplies that they have.
Okay. The one patient I was talking to was telling me that the average person here maybe makes $30 to $50 a month. Now, you get a specialist in here who is doing, say, retinal surgery. In the United States, you're probably looking at a $12,000 surgery. But because of Canvasback and all you've done, Jackie and the team, it's free.
That's right, that's right. They would never have gone off island for that. They couldn't afford to be able to do that. And you know what's really special is these people who've come in here who are blind. They have lost quality of life, but so has their family members. Their family members have had to feed them, have had to lead them around, have had to take care of them. And we are able to set them free too. They're able to go back to living a healthy life too.
Now, so people don't just think, I mean, we are here at an eye clinic now, but Canvasback does so much more. You've got, how many other types of specialties do you get into?
Well, we do orthopedic surgery, we do ENT, gynecology, urology, so many different kinds. And same thing with a person who's been in a wheelchair for years because they couldn't get around, they needed a new knee, or their hip was broken. I've seen patients who've waited 2 years to have their hip
Tell me one of
repaired.
your favorite stories. It just pops off the top of your head. I'm sure you've got some of those.
Oh, I do have a favorite story. I have a favorite story of a blind man who was blind in both eyes, and he came to the clinic, and we were excited. We did one eye. And the next day when he came and we took off his patch, we expected him to go, "Praise the Lord, I can see again." He did nothing. That was really depressing for us, you know, but we thought, well, he's been blind for this many years. Maybe, you know, something has gone wrong here. So we decided to do his second eye. Did the second eye, and the next day he came back, still no response when we took the patch off. It really broke our hearts, but we put him out in the hallway, and he was sitting in the hallway, and pretty soon a very pretty Marshallese nurse walked by, and his head popped up, and he patted her on the back, and he went, "Where have you been?"
I bet that broke up the whole staff.
It did. And from that day on, while we had clinics, he came and he sat there, and people would walk by and go, "Where have you been? I haven't seen you for years. How's it going?"
It's called trigger finger. The fingers of the hand lock into position like pulling a trigger. This can be a problem for a teacher who needs to be on the computer all the time. Rosalinda even saved her money and went off island 2 different times to visit doctors in other countries. No relief. 4 long years and no answers. But then the Canvasback Orthopedic Super Team arrived on the island. They did the needed surgery on both hands. In just a short time, she was as good as new. This is just one of the thousands of stories of lives that have been drastically changed by Canvasback missions. Because of the lack of certain medical specialties, people sometimes suffer for decades with no relief. But you can change all of that. Your gifts to Canvasback can help stop their suffering. Simply log on to canvasback.org.
As Jesus traveled, he always was looking for friendships and relationships. That was key. He wanted people to know him, and he wanted to get to know people and have that friendship and that relationship. Matter of fact, in Matthew 7, he's looking through the books, the judgment books, and the church members come up to him and say, "Lord, we have a right to be in the kingdom. We've cast out demons, we've healed the sick, we've done all these wonderful things." Jesus said, "Who are you?" He looks through the book and says, "Can't find your name. I never knew you. I never knew you." That "know" is a very personal friendship and relationship. While he was here on earth, thousands and thousands of people pressed in on him. They wanted something from him. They wanted a miracle. They wanted a healing here. They wanted something from him. But very few wanted a real friendship with him. There was Martha and Mary and Lazarus, however. They wanted a friendship. They invited Jesus to their home. They spent time with him. It was a place that he could relax and simply just get rid of the cares of the day. He was traveling with his disciples, and Lazarus became very sick. Mary sent a runner, someone to find Jesus and say, "The one you love is sick." He got the message, and the disciples thought he would just immediately, kind of pull up camp and head back, but he didn't. He lingered day after day. And finally, he said, "Okay, it's time. Lazarus is sleeping now." They thought, well, if Lazarus is asleep, then, the fever has passed. He's feeling very good. No. Basically, what Jesus is saying is Lazarus is dead. You see, Jesus equates sleep and death as the same, because when we die, we don't go to heaven. We don't go anyplace. We simply go to sleep and wait for the resurrection. Jesus finally got very close to Mary's home, and she was waiting. She'd been waiting for days. You see, 4 days now had passed, and there was Jesus. "Lord, it's too late. He's already died." "Do you believe, Mary? Do you believe?" Well, yes, Lord, I believe that there'll be a resurrection. Oh, do you believe, Mary? Yes, Lord, I believe in you. And they started to head toward the tomb. Now, Mary sent word too that Jesus was coming to Martha, her sister. Martha jumped up when she heard the news and she ran out, and all the professional mourners and everybody there thought, oh, she's going to the tomb. Well, she was running to meet Jesus. By the time they actually got there, Jesus was at the tomb. And as he's standing there at the tomb, they're saying, Lord, he's been dead 4 days. Yeah, he's stinking. You know, why, Lord, would you even want to be here now? And he asked the men to roll away the stone of the tomb. He could have done it himself. He could have flicked his finger and rolled the stone away, but he cooperates with humanity also. They rolled the stone away, and now he stands there. He has a prayer to his Father, and he says, Lazarus, come forth. And you could hear a pin drop amongst all these people in this desert scene. And they hear a rustling of the tomb. And all of a sudden, out of this tomb, here comes Lazarus hopping. He's wrapped in grave cloths. He's got cloth over his face. He can't see, but he's out of the tomb. Everybody is standing around in amazement, say, what's going on? Jesus has to tell somebody, unwrap him. Take the cloths off, take the wrappings off. And Jesus had raised Lazarus from the dead. Now, it's interesting because every recorded funeral of the Bible that Jesus attended, he broke up the funeral by raising the dead. He is the Creator God. He came down here to planet Earth to share of himself, to show his personality, who he really is. He loves us, and if we fall asleep in Jesus, he wants to resurrect us at that final day and take us to eternity with him. But here's the key. Now is the time to have a friendship and relationship with him. Now is the time to get to know him as your very best friend. That's what he's looking for too. Will you be today, will you be his very best friend? Canvasback Missions has been traveling to the islands for 38 years. Jesus said, go into all the world. You might say, well, islands, that's not a very big area. You know, I think of a story where a fellow was walking on the seashore. He was picking up starfish, and he's throwing them out, starfish at a time. And a fellow sitting on the porch said, man, don't you know you can't throw all those starfish back in, they're just going to die. He says, but it made a difference to this one. This young man used to walk his brother around, didn't you, because he was blind. He couldn't see. This young man is now seeing. This family has seen. They've had surgery because of the Canvasback super teams. It's virtually changed their entire family. You know, God is working miracles through Canvasback, one miracle at a time. Mighty changes. We invite you to partner with Canvasback because it makes a difference in one life at a time. Please join us. Information is on your screen. We thank you so much for your support.
No, but I'll tell you, there was a
tell me
little
story.
boy who came to our clinic. He was about 9 years old, and when he, as all Marshallese kids do, they invent their games to play. So he climbed a coconut tree and wanted to jump across to the building over there, and because he wanted to peek in and see what they were doing. So he jumped across and he hit a power line. And it obliterated his nose, threw him off the building, and this boy was burnt his toes. He was not in good condition at all, Dallin. And when he came to my clinic, he was so frightened. He came in the back door with a rag over his face like this. And when our doctors did the examination, he would hardly look up, and I put a camera to take pictures of him, and he didn't like that at all. And I said, Dallin, if I'm going to have to help you, if you want me to help you, I need to take some pictures. And he said, okay. Well, after 2 visits, 2 different teams, we finally found an ENT doctor from New York, Tal Dagan, who got his hospital, Mount Sinai Hospital, to donate the surgery for this little boy, and he built him a nose.
So you flew him
We flew him to New York. We flew him to New York actually 3 times for 3 surgeries. And you could see, you know, the first day when he got to New York, of course he was scared, but he always wore his hoodie like this, always walked in here like this. After his surgery, after he recuperated, he was running through the subways and, you know, showing us what he could do. He was just feeling so happy. He's now living in the States, going to school, and he's doing so much better. So yeah, that is a success story for me.
And it's because of the donors that this kind of
That's
thing
right.
happens.
That's right. It's because of our donors. We just really appreciate the hearts of people who have reached out to help people on these little tiny remote islands in the Pacific. They've cared about them. You know, this is a mission that shares the love of Jesus through our healing hands. And we have been working out in Micronesia for about over 30 years. And the people love and trust our doctors. Our teams come out not to play. They know that they have to work hard during the days that the hospital is open, and give 110%. Give the very best care to the people, and that's really appreciated. The other thing that means a lot to the Islanders is that we love Jesus and we share that, and that really, really touches their hearts. I have seen patients who are scared to death, and our doctors pray with the patients, and all of a sudden you can see just all the fear go away.
We followed a senator from the island through dental surgery the other day, and then we interviewed him, and he saw that very thing, just exactly what you're talking about.
That is the joy of this work, is being able to share Jesus in a very tangible way. We're not just preaching, but we are really sharing his love.
You know, it's exactly what Jesus did. When you think about it, Jesus came in and he healed entire villages. Before he ever taught the gospel, really, he healed them.
That's right.
And you've got to prepare hearts. You know, if you're in a sick bed or if you're in trouble, you can't think about spiritual things. All you're thinking about is just yourself.
That's
right. So you're relieving that pain and suffering.
That's right. And it's so exciting to see our volunteers involved in that, because you know, some of them come out and they've never been out on a mission, and just being able to share his love and see how great the benefits are. I mean, who has ever heard of having cataracts for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, maybe even 10 years, being blind that long?
I heard of somebody the
US.
other day, what, 20 years? Can't
That's
even
right.
imagine it.
Can you imagine? And because in the United States, or in the Western world, it's like a elective surgery. Oh yeah, I can get my surgery done maybe in 3 weeks or 6 weeks. No, here in the islands, they have to wait years before a team comes in, before these lenses are available.
You know, if you'd like to be a part of this exciting ministry, you can write us at Canvasback Missions, 940 Adams Street, Suite R, Benicia, California, 94510. You can also log on to canvasback.org or call us at 707-746-7828. Thank you for watching. Please join me again for another exciting island adventure. Remember, Canvasback is making an impact on hearts and lives, one miracle at a time.